Greetings and welcome to Soweto Theatre. My name is Shado Mpembe and I will be your moderator for the day. Welcome to the Truversation where we deliver, where we devour into the authentic journeys of artists who have made significant strides in the music industry. Today we are privileged to host three esteemed international reggae artists. We have right now with us Pressure Boss Pipe, Azania Band, Dominic Agagabi Konage, but he will join us a little bit later on. So Namhlanje, with its roots deeply entwined with social justice and culture, consciousness has always been a genre that has transcended borders and connected people worldwide. In this session, we aim to uncover the true stories behind their rise to prominence, navigating the unique challenges faced within the reggae genre and how they have caved their path independently from inspiration that ignited their passions for music to the hurdles they've overcome. We'll explore their personal and professional journeys. Moreover, we'll glance invisible insight and advise from the seasoned music for aspiring artists seeking to make their mark in the industry. Without further ado, let's embark on the journey of truth, inspiration, and wisdom with Pressure Boss Pipe and Azania Band. Let us give them a round of applause. Greetings again, guys. Welcome.
Blessings, blessings.
All right, so we're just going to dive into it and just not waste any time. Now we'll start with you, Pressure Boss Pipe, and then we'll just go along just answering the question. Okay, can you just share with us, a private moment or experience that ignited your passion for reggae music and set you on the path for becoming a musician?
I grew up being a musician. First, let me say greetings to everyone, in the Most High name, Jah, right. Rastafari. Yeah, I grew up in a musical era where my father was a drummer. So as a little youth, I always wanted to play the drums. Of course, in my ghetto that I grew up in, reggae music was big. All the drug dealers, just everybody, just the community, just listened to reggae music. So, I was a product of that community. So, and then my aunts and uncles, like, they're into Rastafari. But my mother and my father weren't into Rastafari. So I came up into like playing musical instruments. I learned to play the trumpet. I learned to play the drums from a very young age, and I continued doing that from the age of 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, all the way up to high school. And by the time I got to high school, I was more rebelling against, a lot of things that I felt, like I was starting to feel myself now, you know what I mean? And then I'm seeking Rastafari. And so I started to rebel against a lot of things. Start to cut class, and just following company and just trying to find my own way, in this place. And of course, music is something that never left me, especially being a drummer and being a part of the concert band in school. I would play drums for the jazz band. I would play drums for the steel pan, for the choir. So I was more rounded in learning how to play music. But it was that time when I wasn't doing good in school, that my mother sent me away to live with my uncle, away from the Virgin Islands, yeah? And she sent me away to live with my uncle, and my uncle took me out of all the musical activities. So he was like, all right, boot camp, you know what I mean? No instruments, no drumming, no nothing, you know what I mean? I would come home and I would have to do my chores, and of course I had cousins living in the house, and, he was more lenient to his children than me because I came from the Virgin Islands. I'm already smoking ganja, and just being myself too at the same time. So he kind of like see I was going down the wrong path, and he just took me out of everything that I was focused on and tried to get me to focus on school, At that time, I couldn't play the drums, I couldn't play the trumpet, so I learned to use my voice, I was at the age of 16, when I started to write my own music, you know. And then, yeah, the rest was history. It's a long story. We're going to be here for hours talking about that. But, you know, it's a long story, but it started out when I was basically stripped from all the musical instruments at a young age, and I know they couldn't strip my voice from me, you know? So I used it at that time and became a messenger after that. Yeah, give thanks.
Yes.
Oh wow, what a story. Yes, over to you.
Yes, ndiyanibulisa nonke bantu bakuthi igama lenkosi
Rastafari.
bless. Igama lam ndinguWakhile wakaXhalisa. Ndikhulele eNyanga East because we had East and West in the ghettos. That's how they set us up in this camp. And my father also is like the same as him. My father came from the Sophia town music, which was Kwela music. Everybody know. My father still play pen whistle and he plays guitar. So for us, and I have 5 brothers, we all Rastafari, and my mom, it was like a different thing because we came out of church. So we all changed into Rastafari because of the cousin. They had a sound system. If you remember that time, there was a thing that called labab. For us, it was something special because it was the original Mzansi way of communicating as Rasta people. And somehow I miss that because we totally changed now to different thing, but still it's Jawex. So for me, music, I started to play my first international artist. If you know Benjamin Zephaniah, that poetry. For I and I, this was the first way out and also to be international. And the list is long. We work with Freddie, we work with Winston McConoff, Deraja, Jamaisin. I mean, the list is long when I talk. And then after that, I moved into Germany. It was like 90s in Berlin. And Berlin was like a big city for me. Now it was Rastaman from Caribbean, different man. And I went there doing African music. It was brethren from Mozambique and Zanini. So it was mixed like Shangani and the Chopi music. And me coming from South, we were not exposed with that music style. But for me, it was good that I linked to Africa. From there, it was a link to open the mind in music, basically. Because my father was mostly Kwela and jazz. That's what we listen at home. So music started to change when I finished my high school. And the cousin there, the sound system was called I&I sound system, which is, we used to play in the houses, putting a tent, those railway tent, 24 hours in a ghetto. And music and people in a township, it was so fun because in a uptown, you wouldn't play this music loud. In a certain time, music must cut off. But ghetto people live with that, and a lot of people became Rastaman just through hearing the sound while he's in the bed sleeping, and then coming to the Sasisidi Kiki that time, say kicking. It was not dancehall, we call it ikik. So a lot of Rastaman meet there and share food, and things was free, even ganja. These days we pay for ganja. That time we never pay for ganja and food. It was all in a sound system through I&I sharing. That was the time we had love amongst Rasta people. At the moment now, it's like we lose the touch of love. You know, people start to grow ganja now. It's like the biggest crew and the biggest mafia system amongst Rasta people. Where I come from, there's a Marcos Garvey community. Everybody knows Marcos Garvey. But if you see the news now, how people are killing each other because of ganja business. And things are run from the jail are the people who operate. So I'm trying to say the life I passed through to now is a different thing. And Rasta people, they've lost the love. It's all about business now. We never put scale when we sell ganja. No, we never put scales. For me, it's a new thing. We took the ganja, boom, that's it, the ganja, that's it. But now it's a serious business and it's scary because people die. Like in Marcus Garvey now, it's a war. Anyway, it's just part of my experience. From that time till now, we have changed the life. And Europe was a big learner for me. It was like a cultural exchange coming from the ghetto. You leave the side of Europe, if you know that it was a Berlin Wall. And that Berlin Wall now is moved. There was the East and the West. And I lived in the West, and the West was like you find punks, you find all different people. But also, that made me to learn that people are people, doesn't matter how you look, because we live amongst those people and they show love. We never had no fight, no differences. So it was like a cultural exchange, but learn more that the grass is not green at that side. The grass, it can be even nothing. It's harder than we think as Africans that if we go over there, we live the best life. But it's just my experience in life. It shows me a different dimension about life, basically. Respect for other people.
So, Kanches, Tavades. Sure. I grew up as a jazz musician, started playing at the age of 3 years old, and traveling the world playing jazz and African music. And you know, a lot of colored people are top decks. They're black on the outside and white on the inside, but they deny that they are black. And when my awakening came, the music that I gravitate to was reggae. Because I has been the people that has kept the grounds, the roots of my forefathers. Working with ganja, working with the herbs, understanding the consciousness of why it is important that we live from the soil. And I love music with space, where space is created, where you can be creative, where you can be free, where you can have the freedom to express yourself. And I found that about 4 years ago in a transitioning stage of my life, where I had to pick up the stick and lead my people, where I had to kind of proclaim that this is righteousness, and this is good, and this is great, you know. And yeah, that's my journey. Gangans, thank you so much.
Greetings, Chao people. Ja, Rastafari. It's for me a privilege to be here. I didn't know we were gonna do this, but yeah, Chao work in mysterious ways. I come from Cape Town, like my elder here, my brother Sakhele. I'm from Menenberg, a gang-ridden area, where there's like war, full-scale war going on, and drug dealing, and everything. But you know, music was my escape. Because I grew up also in a music, similar story like my brother here, where my parents, they loved music. My father used to sing, my mother also used to sing, but nobody could actually play instrument. Because there's always music in the house, my interest grew there. The seed was planted there. So I started playing in the church. And after a few years, I started at the age of, say, around about 15, 14, around about there. I started playing, and I met my other brother that's standing there, Brother Ricky. We started playing, and he introduced me to reggae music. And I started loving this music up until today, 20 plus years later. He introduced me to my brother Sakhele, Elder Sakhele here, and I started playing with the Azania band. And we played for many artists, international artists. Yeah, that's how my interest in music. I love my guitar. I'm playing guitar, for those that don't know, that's my instrument. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, memory lane, just taking me there. Because I was listening to you guys and I'm thinking, oh, I'm there. But I'm also realizing that more than anything, I feel what you guys have in common was that reggae was a way of a place of safety for you. It was a way of escaping, I would say, reality and invoking your consciousness. Now, speaking about consciousness, we know that the reggae genre often carry profound messages of social justice and culture. So now, the role do you believe reggae plays in shaping social consciousness, or what role do you think reggae plays in terms of shaping?
I think for me as a South African, in a time of apartheid, reggae was giving us power. Get up, stand up, and fight for your rights. So we became revolutionary through this music. And this music, it opens somehow different ways of liberty in life as ghetto people. I either be a gangster or 26 or 28, but I choose not. And this thing was right in front of my yard. But reggae and the consciousness that made me to choose this way. It's reggae music.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I truly think it's important, for me as an artist too. I realized the importance for the message, over the years, I've chanted for the message in the music, it's a task, because where greatness is done, greatness is expected also. So, being an artist for myself, of course, I'm a human being, but, when you start to defend human rights and start to speak up for the people socially, then, the people themselves have you, they hold you high. Yeah. You understand? So it's a duty and a responsibility to keep that energy going and make sure that you implement messages in the music and have fun with the music. You know what I mean? Because I think that's what makes people enjoy the music, to put the message in enjoyable ways where people can laugh about it, they can dance to a conscious message, and it all the time. It doesn't have to be, like you kill Babylon, you know what I mean? It's like more time we just have fun, because music is enjoyable, and I love creating music. I love trying different stuff, but, I realize that socially, reggae music is like a heavy-duty truck, you know what I mean? Because only reggae music can carry certain message, like the message that reggae music carry, you wouldn't hear it in R&B. You wouldn't hear it in jazz music. You wouldn't hear it in calypso. I don't care. You wouldn't hear it in Afrobeat. You know what I mean? Reggae music is like the only channel to speak about certain things. Else it's going to be corny if it's not reggae music. Attack certain things. You know what I mean? They're going to be like, why is Beyonce talking about burning Babylon? That no sound right. I need Beyonce to do Beyonce. You know what I mean? It's like, everyone has a part and certain people are chosen for certain work, So once you know you're responsible for certain work, you don't look upon the next man and say, yo, oh, you not do your work. Make sure you doing your work. You understand? And that's very important. You take time out of your day to look and see who is doing their work. You know what I mean? And you miss out on your work. So I've always been on a road where, all right, because I'm in an industry full of artists, even Rasta artists that don't really do reggae music like that no more. Because it's, like you say with the ganja, it's a business, you know what I mean? So this music is a business. And for me, like right now, I'm starting to think business, And you might say like, man, you're in this business for over 20-something years. I've been in this business over 20-something years. I've never been signed to a big record label. I've never had the opportunity to have big budget behind of pressure bus pipe. Everything that I've done up until now has been organic. Just me doing good music and it reaching the four corners of the earth and people loving the music, a lot of artists, they travel all over the world. They're on the big stages, and I'm right next to them, but it's just who is working with them and who is working with who and them, and you have to link with that gang, they forget that done, and Pressure Bus Pipe does stay so and stick with the message, because for me it's like the love for the music, the love for the people, like the reward is in the people. When a man hit me up on Instagram or Facebook and say, yo, Pressure, this song did this for me, that is my reward. That made me feel like, yeah, I need to make more music like that, because it changed our life. It make somebody feel different about today. I have so many testimonies as an artist for what my music, much less reggae music in a whole, has done for the masses. What reggae music has done for me, I would be ungrateful, to take reggae music and turn it and deceive the masses with it, because reggae music has changed my life. It has made me see things from a different perspective. And for me to be an artist, even though I'm an artist now, and a lot of people around the world know who is Pressure Bus Pipe and listen to Pressure Bus Pipe, I'm still a big fan of reggae music. I listen to everybody. Like, I listen to all the African artists them before I come to South Africa, So I don't say, all right, I'm an artist, go up on him page, let me listen to him songs them. Me do that because I just love the energy of music. And one artist can't do it. One messenger can't do it. It take a whole nation, of one message. The same message, everybody chanting the same message, but not for we. I chant that message, and that's how we're going to get the breakthrough. Not no sometimes this and sometimes that, and when it's benefit, you have to put in the work and do your part. So the social part is definitely important to me. Reggae music has changed so much laws, Remember when Rastaman used to get beat up for ganja, and then now we have people still fighting and killing one another for ganja. After Rastaman done, like there was a time when you couldn't even be a Rasta. You get beat up, you get murdered, you get killed just for having locks on your head. I grew up in a time in the Virgin Islands when you couldn't get a job if you had locks. So now it's like people with locks on their head is still a thing, because a lot of people have locks and they're still not Rasta. So I had to see to myself, and you know what? It's not the locks on a man's head, it's a man doing. And how a man present himself, and who a man is to his people, and what he is to himself, and how he represents himself. Because locks is just one thing. And even Morgan Heritage say, you don't have to be dread to be Rasta. But I believe that when you have locks on your head, you're identified as a Rasta. So that means it's a responsibility to uphold certain things, and it's either some people are Rasta and some people are Rascal. Like they just have the locks, but they don't have the teachings, they don't have the vision, they don't know how to express themselves in an upful manner. Because Rasta is not just, Rasta is the whole thing. I Majesty come and dress up in suit, tie, and we come and wear the locks to defend the prophecy and show us from Genesis, this is how God created man, without scissors, without comb. But the prophecies of His Majesty that's how we live. We live through His Majesty's prophecies. You understand? So we have to know what we're here for, and socially, reggae music is speaking the messages. Now, the system have a job to cut back reggae music. That is their job, and they're doing very well, right? So we have a duty to keep burning the fire. We can't ease up the fire, or we are going to make Babylon work harder than we. You know what I mean? So we have to keep beating the kettle. Keep on beating the kettle, because every fruit have its season. You know? And right now we're living in a dark era. There's a dark cloud over the world right now because there's so much dark vibes happening in the music. You know, even for Jamaica, that has inspired me over the years to do reggae music. The country is putting out a lot of dark music. You know what I mean? This is the land of Bob Marley, the land of Peter Tosh, you know, Burning Spear, Bunny Wailer, the great ones them that really set it for I and I. You know what I mean? And then now it's like, we have in our minds like, yeah, when we go to Jamaica, we're going to feel Irie and it's going to be Rasta vibes, and you turn on the radio and it's gunman music, it's slack music. So it's like, this is not the Jamaica I know. You understand? So is that going to change me? No. Because I also know that you have to follow the message and sometimes not the messenger, you know? So it's important to just, all right, take the good from each that you can. You don't have to follow a man's step, you know. But you can watch his step and see, say, all right, he mess up right there, so I like the same direction, you know. But when I take that direction, I'm going to jump over the rock there. Now make the rock there, put up on my foot. So it's just paying attention to each and every one, learning as you go. Each one teach a one, iron sharpen iron. You know what I mean? Because we need each other to make this work. All over the world, it's not South Africa alone. Reggae music is suffering around the world. So that means Babylon doing their job, you know. So we can't sit down and be like vexed with Babylon. What are we doing to save reggae music? What are we going to do to save the people? You know? So we have to come together, all forces, PR, bookings, media, artists, everybody have to beat the kettle. That's the only way it's going to work. You know, for myself, of course, I do a lot of reggae music. I try to do different genres of music, but reggae music is my art. And as an artist, sometimes we can't limit ourselves because we're artists. It's just that, you know, if I'm an artist and I paint pictures, if you come into my shop and I only have Rastafari pictures, then that means I'm only supporting one community. You understand? I have to have some pictures of the beach. I might have a picture of a naked woman silhouette because somebody in the world likes that. And I have to be a market. When you go into the supermarket, there's a candy section, there's the bread section, there's the vegetable section, there's the soda, the juice, the natural section, and then there's the chemical section. Everybody have a choice. You know what I mean? So as an artist, you know, my vision and my responsibility is to His Majesty and to the work, to keep the fire burning, to sing about the goodness of His Majesty, to sing about the social issues that we face in the community, and also to have fun while I'm doing it. Because if you don't love what you're doing, then it becomes work. I love being an artist. I love speaking the truth. I love speaking up for the people. I love when the people show me love. So I have to give that love to the people musically in every direction, which way I can. And I believe that music was my chosen destiny and my chosen path. So that is my vision to spread love and to share harmony amongst the people and to aware the people of Wagwan. You know what I mean? Yeah, and enough love to everybody out there where, you know, I do their part. Because sometimes it's like you go unknown, you know. You're doing work and you don't get recognized for your work. It's not for man to recognize you sometime, you know. Don't you wait for one man to validate your work, this group of people to validate who you are. We now wait for no validation. You know what I mean? If you know to your heart you're doing the right thing, go harder. Go harder. You understand? So I just, the message is very important. I don't mean to hold up the mic, you know. I have never been promoting music ever in my life, like, until now. Like, I've never really stick on a promotion of one song. Like, I don't think I've ever given any of my music a fair chance to promote and get out there. They all did what they've done organically, naturally. I've never spent a month. The amount of songs I have, I don't have the music videos for them. Like, you go on the internet, you're probably going to find 10 to 15 music video, but you will find 300, 400 songs. So, and then every day you say, like, wait, I never hear this pressure yet. Sometimes I hear them for myself and I say, wait, when did I do this? You know what I mean? And sometimes you just have to keep working. My great brother, Vaughn Benjamin, I don't know if anybody know Vaughn Benjamin. Right? All right, cool. So Vaughn Benjamin, this is one thing him tell me, and it always stick with me. Him say, as long as the sun shining, you have to keep the fire burning. As long as the sun shine, you have to keep working. You understand? Vaughn left us with 76 albums. 76 albums. Vaughn Benjamin never promoted one song and had 76 albums. And I guarantee you, you probably only know about 10 songs by heart. The popular ones, Live the Life You Love, Bushman, right? Yeah, but there's thousands of Vaughn that he never gave a chance, because in his mind, if the people need the food, they have to be able to find it. You know, every song is a book. Every song is a page. So every song I'm coming from a different angle. So today you wake up, it wasn't the same as yesterday. So today I have something to say and the world need to hear what I have to say today. And then tomorrow I have something else to say. And the world need to hear what I have to say tomorrow. So this was the vision. You know what I mean? I never had the business in my mind, because business and job work sometimes really don't work hand in hand. Like, when you look for money, it's like, all right, this is not really the fulfillment of job work. This is you trying to make ends meet now. Some things that we have to do also, right? But when it comes to job work, sometimes money not involved. It's the longevity of a situation, you know, and where relationships and working with one another can reach. Sometimes, you ever hear the saying, a good friend is better than pocket kind? Because having good people around you will take you further than money. You know what I mean? You might have a good friend and you don't have no money, and him can pick you up and take you to the store and take you to a certain place. But if you think you might have to catch a taxi, you understand? But now you don't need to catch no taxi. You can link sistering. I say, beg you a ride down the road now. That's better than money. You know what I mean? So many situations. But, you know, I love life. I love the people. I work for the people. My music belongs to the people. I do not hold the music for myself. You know, when I record music, I try to get them out of my system. Like, go. Go where you belong. You belong to the people. You know what I mean? So, like I say, after the 2 years, now I'm back in the studio recording, and it feels different, because I always had music bank and ready for it. Like, what you say? All right, you ramp with me, hold on. Play this. I'll drop this next week then. You know what I mean? But now it's like, no, I need to go build a song, you know. Need to go write a song. I need to go work on this song, yeah. You know? Because all the music that I've gotten out of my system in the last 2 years, they're out in the world. And people loving them, people are showing their respects to them, so I truly give thanks. I want to big up South Africa, you know. Let me tell you something. Soweto, Cape Town, has been showing a lot of love. Yeah, I must say that. And for years now, on my Facebook page, you know what I mean? And I look, and I just like, all right, cool, I move because it's so much. I think that Africa owns my Facebook page because I don't have my peers, my regular friends, I have to go on Instagram to talk to them. So when I post on Facebook, it's really for the African people because I think 75% of my fans on Facebook are African. So I must say much love, to South Africa. I have a lot of family that travel from the Virgin Islands to Africa, and some of you may know them, right? And they've been trying to connect us for years, and Pressure Bus Pipe is finally in South Africa, so yeah.
Now we're actually just, a couple of questions down, but it's fine. Just one quick question for you, and then Jay, just to get along. Now, we know that independent artists usually, get a rough time out there. What are the few challenges, perhaps, that you have faced over the years as an independent artist, and how have you overcome them?
Thanks for having me. Big up Pressure, my artist. I think, like Pressure said, you just have to keep working and believing in yourself. A lot of people, they start the battle by not believing in themselves, and you already defeated yourself. You have to believe in yourself and have a purpose. Once you have a purpose in life, when there's music, every artist that you see out here traveling all over the world, they never got it so easy. From Pressure to everybody else, they had to put in work. And Pressure will give you will even tell you, being a non-Jamaican going to Jamaica to record is hard in the early stages. Me being from South Sudan going to Jamaica to play reggae music, Jamaican people are the nicest, meanest people you'll ever know. Like, you have to do their music the right way. And Pressure is somebody that we look up to, being non-Jamaicans, because they broke that barrier. Pressure, Natural Black, and those artists. And just to see him in Africa, I text him I sent him a DM. I said, Bregin, just welcome home. He was so excited, and it's just like, yeah, you have to believe in yourself, and once you believe in yourself, the rest is just gonna fall in places. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that, Dominique. Now, what are some of your greatest musical inspirations within the reggae genre, and how have they influenced your style in the approach of music?
Can you rephrase that?
What are some of your greatest musical inspiration within the reggae genre, and how have they influenced your musical style?
I think me coming from South Sudan, I've never wanted to lose the South Sudan identity while doing reggae or doing any other genre. I want to make sure that people do understand. First, I am from South Sudan doing reggae, because being a South Sudanese itself is a culture, and that it's to me it's who I am. And I have to make sure my people understand. So when I'm in South Africa, when I'm in Jamaica, when I'm in the Virgin Islands, the people back home understand that I'm representing them, So that's very, very important, As far as being influenced, I'm not going to lie to you. It's every day I'm very, very amazed of how reggae music is getting a fight, but we are still shining bright like the stars, like when Pressure said he hasn't recorded in 2 years, I don't think you guys understand, is like he's still relevant. Can you imagine? He can go another 2 years and we can still want him to come and perform in Africa. That's the power of music, that good music that he has, and it's things like that that really inspire me, I'm going to tell you a little story. I linked Pressure probably 12 years ago, and I requested a song called When Them Come. It's a song that he did with Glenn Washington, and it's one of my beloved songs that he has released, because when I was in East Africa, that's a song that we listen to all the time. And growing up in the refugee camps, they used to come and look for us to literally kill us. So when I hear that song, it does something to me. And I never got that dubplate to play in a clash. I just got that dubplate for myself. You know, and that's like over 12 years ago. So like when you guys are inspiring to me. You know, just today going back to the hotel, the traffic jam in Johannesburg, worse than Atlanta. So when I just see the people, I feel at home. So like, you know, I'm just inspired by everything that's around me. Yeah, pressure, when them come, they want to hear soon. We can fling the dub later though, so no problem.
I don't remember that song.
These are the days of our land. When them come, we're gonna
When them come, we're gonna mash them down with love. When them come, they're gonna see where the children of the Father who lives in us.
Big
When them come, we're gonna show them a brighter way.
Yeah, bop. Big tune.
Big up, big up. I must say, you made me proud when I saw that you was representing Sudan in the World Clash.
Yes, man.
That made me feel real proud. Like that was a big moment for me because, you know, I'm saying, wait, I never heard of you, bro.
Yeah.
Like never until I'm like, how is in the world? I never even heard of this Sudanese child dynamic. And the man mash up the place, and not even just mash up the place. The man play pressure dub plate, and I said, no, I'm a friend. Me and him, I'm a friend.
Yeah.
And mash up the place. So big up.
Respect,
you know what I mean?
Man.
Dynamic, more blessings to you, know?
Yeah, man. It's a lot of us from where I come from, you know, and it's just opportunities is what our people need, you know, and I'm very grateful to be amongst the right people that, you know, I used to literally call promoters and beg them to do the early warm. Early warm is when a DJ go and play before the main event, and they will turn me down. But I never really took it personal, you know, because I knew, you know, every dog has its day. You know, my day was gonna come, and a lot of people don't know this, but I've been playing reggae music since 2001.
Wow.
You know, and I just been waiting and waiting. Sometime I quit and I just forward back because reggae has a way of pulling you back in, you know. And in 2018, I was blessed with a son in Kansas City, and they wanted me to go and represent Kansas City. So I told them, no, I want to represent Africa. They were like, no, we don't want Africa now. So I kind of tricked them, you know. I say, no problem. I go up there and I put on my African dashiki. And I told them, you know, if you think a man like me come from Kansas City, then you are a fool. I'm here to represent Africa, and the rest has been history, you know. And
that's what I respect about you.
Yeah.
You handle it. It was,
yeah, because, you know, I think you would probably even understand it being from the Virgin Islands. You know, it's like you go to certain places, you know, just to see the VI flag up there. It's such a blessing.
Want to see your identity.
Yes, man. You know, when we did Jamra Cruise, everybody had their flag up there, and you know, I didn't see a South Sudanese flag, and I made sure I put the South Sudanese flag up there. But I also understand I don't only represent South Sudan, I represent the whole Africa, you know? Even though I'm from South Sudan, it's the whole movement. And like, the music is, I do believe the music is way bigger than me. Yes. You know, like, anybody that pays money to come and hear me, I just feel like I'm so blessed. If today is my last day on earth, I feel like I've fulfilled my job because you guys have brought me down here, and I've done something that I've always wanted to do, which is to play the music the right way. So thank you guys very much. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dominique. I think we still have the same question for Azania Band of what has been your greatest musical inspiration to date, and how has it influenced your musical style?
Well, we're still at old school. We not go for a new school because I grew up listening the roots. So for me, it's very difficult also to catch up with the new fever. We still keep the roots, and that make us also be special because coming out, everybody wants to follow what's in. And when I go for that, roots is the way to go.
There were a lot of those that never had the opportunity. And in the Virgin Islands, there's no opportunity for music. We just have the talent. But there's no record labels. We had to create this industry over time. You understand? So I come from a time when you had to really be exceptionally good to break through the market, you know? And yeah, I work hard. I study the Jamaican culture, you know, listen to the music over and over, just learn and just put myself in certain situations that would help me also, you know. And yeah, music is a way it does its thing, you know. So for me, I'm always grateful for every step. It has always been a task for me, you know. Of course, like I tell you, I'm human, you know, in an industry where I'm working with artists who are less talented, more talented, just as talented, and a lot of opportunities are given to them, and you don't get the same opportunities, you know what I mean, because you don't have nobody fighting for you. And then it's like a nationality thing, you know, like, why would I give it to Pressure? He's from the Virgin Islands, and I have my brethren from Waterhouse whom I can give it to, my brethren from Cherry Garden whom I know and grow with, I can give him the blight. And for that is one of the reasons I always have gratefulness to Don Carleon, who produced Love and Affection, because Don Carleon looked outside of Jamaica and found Pressure Bus Pipe, you know. He heard the first copy of my album, The Pressure Is On, with When Them Come and them songs there. He heard that album and was like, yo, I have to work with this artist. So he reached out to me, and of course I'm on the phone like, which Don? Which Don this? Nah, man. He's like, yo, this is Don Corleone, like Don, I produce. I'm like, yo, I'm listening to everything that Don Carleon put out at the time, the Drop Leaf rhythm, the Seasons rhythm. Don Carleon put out the Sizzler, Rise to the Occasion, and he and Vibes Cartel basically bust together. You know what I mean? So I'm studying all of this, and then this is like becoming my favorite producer right now, especially that Drop Leaf out, and it's the biggest reggae rhythm. You know what I mean? So now it's like my eyes and focus is like, yo, I hope one day I get to work with Don Carleon. And there's so much other producers that are good, but I had him at the top of the pinnacle, and he reached out to me to work on music. It was like a dream come true, you know? And he was like, listen, I'm going to send you 13 tracks. I'm going to send you some tracks, and you just write, just work on the songs and whatever. And I heard the 13 tracks. I'm skipping through the CD, and the first track that caught my attention was the Love and Affection track. You know what I mean? That was the first thing. I heard it. I moved on to our next track. It's on my mind, you know. Move on to our next track. I said, no, let me go back to this track here. I started to work on the song. It took me like 3 to 4 hours. The same day I heard the track, it took me like 3 to 4 hours to write the song. And that same night, I was in Miami. I recorded the song in Miami. Dan was still in Jamaica. So me and the producer in Miami, and we're talking and we're saying, yo, I hope Dan take this song. I hope he like it. Because if he don't take this song, me and the producer was already talking about redoing it on our own. Like, if he don't like it, we like it. We're going to do something with it. And we sent it to Dan, and Dan was like, yo, are the biggest song ever. And I'm like, stop talking, cause you can't tell me anything now, I just looking a break coming from the VI. I just want to, be heard, So Dan say, yo, this is the biggest song. You don't even know. This song is the biggest song ever. And I'm like, okay, cool. Release it, put it out. But that wasn't the only song I did. I also did Ghetto Life, right? The same week, I did Ghetto Life as well. So I had believed in Ghetto Life because remember, my first album, Pressure Is On, I really had no song on there pretty for no woman song, nothing. You understand? I believe I had one, but the whole album was a revolutionary album. It was message and just about love and peace, unity. So that was my meditation, but somehow when I heard that track, the Love and Affection track, I just stepped out of the box for the first time and said, you know something, let me try something different. And it was history after that. I was telling Dan, like, yo, you need to put out Ghetto Life, a big tune. The whole of the ghetto youth, them are going to like that one day. Dan say, yeah, but Love and Affection have to come out first. Just trust me, man. Just believe me, man. And Love and Affection came out, and my life changed. Like that. It was like I was making no money, can't stop make money. Every weekend, every 3 days, whether I'm in a studio making dub plate, I'm booked for a concert, it's like Love and Affection had me working constantly. And it was like a whole quick trip, like, what? Like, now I can go buy a car next week. You know what I mean? Now I can give mommy some money. It was like just that, because going through when, like, my life is a whole story. I'm going to write a book soon. But while I was out of school trying to find my way, I had a great job. I was working for the government. Sorry, I have to talk to the South African people. See, you give me the microphone, I have to talk to the people. Yeah? So I was going to school in Georgia, but after that, out of school, I had a great job in the Virgin Islands, and I was working as an inspector for the government. I would inspect foods in the store. We would inspect the gasoline at the gas stations and stuff like that. Like, I would go in and make sure, like, they don't have no expired items for the babies and for everybody. Just make sure. And if there is, I have a book to find you. You know what I mean? So that was my job. And, great benefits. I had my son. I was 21 years old. I just got my son. So everybody was like, yeah, you sound good, but don't quit your job. You have a great job with benefits and you have your son. And, everybody was like, bro. And my mother was the only person who, to everybody, would be the least person to support. She was the support I needed, and she gave it to me. I told my mom, I said, listen, I want to do music. I can't do this 9-to-5 thing, Like, I have to fulfill my dream as a musician. I cannot wake up every morning, and then I'm at work, I'm writing music. At the desk, I'm writing music. I got the truck, I'm on the road, I'm singing on the job. So now, and I'm performing also, because I have the first album out. So I have my album out, and I'm working for the government as a Rastaman too. So everywhere I go, people taking my job for a joke because they know I'm an artist. You know what I mean? They're like, brother, just move from here with that, man. And so you know what I mean? So I really want to take my music serious. And my mother, she was like, do what you have to do. Whatever you have to do, do it, And I quit my job. I moved to Atlanta, and my mom was my support. I'm talking about every week, every 2 weeks, she would send me $100, $200. And behind that, she would always tell me, I hope you're in the studio, I hope you're doing what you're telling me you're doing, Don't just be taking the money, go buy weed, go smoke no weed, and make sure you're doing studio work and you record it. And every week I was sending my mother a song. And she was like, yeah, I like this. All right, cool, good. Like, giving me wind to just keep going and doing my thing, you know what I mean? And in that space of time, is when Dan Carlian linked me. You know, it was like my breaking point. I was like, brother, I forgot look at job. I can't be living this life. I quit my job now for a whole 2 years. I'm trying to find my way in this music business. I'm not making no money. My mother is supporting me. She's sending money for my baby mother to take care of my son. Then I'm asking my sister for money. Then I'm sleeping on her couch. It was like, but they understand, because when they heard my music, it made them believe like, all right, we love the way you sound. So go on, do your thing. When I'm out doing shows, I'm rocking every show. People calling my mother and be like, your son going on bad. He going on mad, he mashing up the place. And it making my parents feel happy. You know what I mean? So that in itself gave me the support from them. Now my father, who was the musician, who inspired me to want to be a part of music, he was never supportive of reggae music, never supportive of me as a Rasta. It was always, no, that I don't tolerate that. My father was a community man. Like, everybody knew him to be the straight. He don't smoke, he don't drink, and he's very popular in the town. So if I do something in the community, my father is going to know what happened by nighttime comes. Somebody's going to tell him. So I can't get away with doing nothing, you know? And he was not very supportive of me in the early days. But when people, because even when I was telling him I had love and affection out, you know, and my father was like, Rasta man thing, him stay there. And I'm touring down the world, and my father's like, make him do him thing, my Rasta man, him love bun weed. But it's the people, the fans, is like, yo, stop it, man. You know, see your son do good. You know, see what your son do, all these great things your son do. You need to stop it. Support your son. Listen to his songs. Listen to what he's saying. He's not talking nothing crazy. And my father say, not true, you know. A real thing. You know? Not true, man. Because he couldn't go nowhere and talk bad about me. Everybody was defending me like, yo, you is pressure father? No, man, you don't know your son, you don't know. All right, my name is Pressure for 2 years, and my father don't know I'm Pressure. People go into my father and be like, yo, Pressure, my son don't name no Pressure. I have love and affection running the world all over. My father, you can't tell my father my name Pressure. You understand? So, them kind of things I grew up into. And even saying that, he still was a big inspiration to me, because he made me want to play drums. He made me want to learn to be musical inclined, you know. But my father had it hard as a musician, so he never wanted to see me go through the same path as him. You know what I mean? Like working in the hotels and not getting pay. And my father was like, brother, I can get you a job at the post office, you know. I know some people down there. As a matter of fact, I know some people at the army. I can get you in the army. You know what I mean? The Air Force. You like planes? You want to fly planes? You know what I mean? That was my father. And it was never me seeing the music and me wanting to do that fully. He was always like, yo, music should always be your hobby. There's nothing wrong with doing music. But you're trying to do this full time? You're crazy. How are you going to pay your bills? How are you going to do this? And he's saying this, of course, because I don't have no money in my pocket, and I'm getting ready to ask him for $100. So he's like, you see what I'm talking about? Music not going to do nothing. You need to go find a job, go find a work. And it's just me, just knowing that, no, this can't be my life, you know? So I just work hard and stop beg. And I found another job. I went to go work again. I said, all right, daddy, right. No, stop beg. Go find a work. You know what I mean? And I just saw it happen. And then, you know, love and affection, like I said, when the song released, it changed my life.
Yes, it's still the same question. How have you managed to maintain your artistic integrity and independence in your musical career?
I think it's only hard work. As an instrumental, sometimes you have to be versatile if you want to work as a player. It's not like a singer, it's a different thing. But if you are instrument player, you have to work hard. So my secret is practice. personal practice, learning more different music, especially in Africa, is a big continent. When it comes to music, we all have a different signature way of playing the music. So if you come from Africa, you don't know what's happening in West Africa, you're not a musician. If you have to join other people and play with. So for me, it's just a secret of working in all style on playing as an instrumental. That makes you your profession. If you don't do that, you're going to wait for reggae gigs, and reggae gigs don't come. What you eat. But also what I do, I invest in sound, rehearsal space that we have in the ghetto. So we have all man, Luton Fire, everybody, gentlemen. I mean, the list is long. That comes and work with I in the ghetto and work in my space. So that keeps me going, not look for work. And my parents don't tell me, go look for work now. Because they can see I don't hustle them. When they finish getting paid, whatever, pension, I don't go to them and say, I need something. They come to me if I can help. So I feel proud that I made them proud, because also they thought, what you gonna eat? How you gonna survive with this music story? Because my father is a musician. I mean, he knew, but he never get a chance to move as I move. So, but you see a different, but it's a hard work, I say. As a musician, you can't stick to one style. Also, as a player, you have to be versatile. Any work comes, you can be able to play. Give you the groove, you play. This is your profession in life. That's my secret.
And for yourself, Dominique?
Yeah, after all of that, I don't even know what to say, but I mean, I just try to always be true to myself. You know, sometimes I think the Caribbean say force ripe. You don't want to force ripe yourself. You know, I believe in moments. You know, I believe sometime when God, give you a moment, it's your moment. Nobody could ever take that away from you. You know, your immediate people might not see it, but once you see it, you just keep nurturing it and keep going. I always live by this motto: you only live once. You know, tomorrow is not promised to nobody. You know, so when you are given an opportunity to be in front of people to preach the gospel through music, you know, do it the right way, because you don't know who is listening. You know, and my life changed when I had a son. I used to take things for a joke. I was just there laughing and whatnot, but when you realize, when I started having nieces and nephews, and I remember my nephew one day was, those times we were still playing CDs, playing with the CDs, and when you listen to my dub plates, all those guys you hear mentioned, Prince Zion, Adelio, those are my nephews. Like, they're under 10 years old, just in case they want to grow up and play the sound is there already, and they watch everything that I do, everything that I say. Even on Facebook, on my social media, I have to be very careful what I post, because I have my nieces and nephews who are in their early teens right now. They're getting on the social media, they're watching everything and I don't want to be a big embarrassment to them. And not only that, you just have to do the right thing, And like me, I come from the mud. I always say that, and I'm not ashamed of where I come from due to the civil war in my country, but I feel like I'm one of the few that made it out. Literally 90% of all the friends I grew up with, they're died and gone. So I can't sit back and let that hold me. I have to live my life for them. That's why I'm pretty sure when you guys watch my clashes, I literally cry tears, I remember when I was in Jamaica for Sumfest. Anybody that knows Sumfest, that is the elite festival in Jamaica. Just to be booked for Sumfest, that night I couldn't sleep. And I went and I clashed one of the biggest sounds to ever come out of Jamaica, which is Bass Odyssey. And when I saw I was doing better than them, I swear to God, I saw like the vision of my father. When I was going to tune for tune and I felt like I was winning it, and I broke down and I started crying, but I still had 3 more songs to go. So like I held in there, it's the power of music, I don't think a lot of people understand the power of music, man. You know, music changed life. You know, even when Bob Marley made his first trip to Africa, he went back to Jamaica and his music changed. You know, and we, the African people, home and abroad, we have something that the world does not understand, and it's okay as long as we understand it. And one of my biggest joy in the music is to see our brothers and sisters from abroad, people like Pressure, coming back home, you know, and now for him to go over there, there's gonna be a lot of people asking him, how was Africa? So he's gonna be the one communicating and say, hey, listen, Africa is home, because he will tell you there's a lot of people that he knows that are scared to come to Africa. Until today, there's people who still think people are running around naked and whatnot. I'm telling you, but that's the way Babylon set the things for them. That's why we have to go back to the roots and listen to this music. Music is our Bible. Music is our guidance, you know. When you sing songs about love and affection, that's the right way to talk to a woman, you know. And I just be true to yourself and always don't feel away if your grass is not green, you know. Don't feel away once your brother or sister is doing very well. Be inspired instead of showing that hate. I've held my own since 2001, and I was collecting dub plates, and I was just sitting back, and I was also prepared not to make it big in the industry. And you know, there's a lot of people that feel like, well, Dynamic came through, you know, he just forthright. But when I start playing the dubs, when I was in UK and I played at Gregory Isaacs dub plate, a lot of people are confused, like, how did he get that? But I was always building, and I knew that one day, if God gave me the chance, I was just gonna bust the scene. And once I busted the scene, let me tell you one thing. Once the opportunity comes, make sure you're ready, because it's not gonna come again twice. You see me? Don't be ready. You see, once, you know, everybody's seeing like Dynamic is all over the place, but the way, the hard work has been years of tears, and sometimes I sit in the shower just to let water run through my body, because I see everybody else that is not as half as talented as I think I am, doing it good, but touring the world, destroying everything, and I'm sitting back. But then I realize, you know what? Maybe it's just not my time. But then when my time came, I made sure the world understood that Africa kind of has an idea about this sound clash thing, you know? And I'm not going to lie to you. I never, ever wanted to be a DJ. I've always wanted to be a football player, you know? But you can't put all your eggs in one basket, you know? So God gave me an opportunity, and boom, I'm here now. You know, I flew from Seychelles Island. I went to Atlanta, and I flew back to Ethiopia here. Literally been on a plane for 3 days. But the moment I got here, I wasn't even tired a bit like that, you know? And because it's the powers of music. You know, you might not know this, but you see, South Africa, for me as an African, South Africa has always been ahead of the game. From back in the day, my favorite artists being Yvonne Chaka Chaka, listening to Chico Chikaya, all those people, we've always looked upon South Africa, and coming here for the first time is the same feeling as you. And I'm like, this is the music mecca of Africa. You know, a lot of people might try to push it to Nigeria, but for me, South Africa is when I saw Lucky Dube when I was young, I snuck into a stadium, bro. You know what I mean? I was in Kenya, perform at Nyayo Stadium. I snuck into the stadium, and we went on top of the light pole, you know, because we didn't have money to pay. We sat there and sang along to Lucky Dube songs, man. And you see, Lucky Dube is like our king. You know, when the man sing, he sings for all of us, you know. When Lucky Dube, when we just wanted to touch him, you see me? And like, when he was doing the US tours, them time there I was broke, bro. I can go to shows, but we just go outside to the venue just to in case to see him walk in and catch that vibe and say one day I'm gonna be like him, And it's the same feeling when you were just sitting back and telling Don, yo, if you don't release that tune, I'm gonna release it myself, that feeling of just wanting to make it, But now, like, I still feel like I'm very hungry because I know there's a lot more talented African DJs than me. They just don't have the opportunity. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna make sure that I play my role right and leave the door open. So the day I'm done, they can just bust through, Yeah, man, respect.
Thank you so much for that, Dominique. I think what we got from that overall was that do you, forget everything else. Do you, your time will come, and when it comes, grab it with both hands. Now moving along. Pressure, could you share with us maybe a particular moment, a memorable moment, rather, where you faced a challenge in your career and perhaps that problem sort of shaped you as to an artist that you are today?
Any difficulties I had in this music business, I think were self-inflicted, From the very first day that Love and Affection has been released, even my time in Jamaica, it has been very loving. Jamaica has accepted Pressure Bus Pipe as one of their own. Everywhere I go, people would always show me the love. And then, if you know myself, I'm very humble, standoff. I don't talk much unless I'm around a circle of people that I'm comfortable with. Then I just become a comedian, right? But usually I'm the observant one. I'm always the one scoping the room, checking out how people vibes is, and just staying to myself. I'm very, very observant. And I've always been that way. And people in Jamaica have seen that. And what I realize is like, the minute you go to Jamaica and act like you're that guy, you lose fast. Especially in a world where they are already fighting amongst themselves to be that guy. So me coming from the Virgin Islands, I just wanted to contribute consciousness to the music, where it would be beneficial to everyone. You can't say you hate this music when the music's speaking of love. And then you don't know me because I don't talk much. I don't even party, So the music, I usually just had the music speaking for itself. And the response from the music throughout the world and everywhere that I've traveled, and my dealings with people, everybody that I've worked with over and over. I've never had like, you're gonna breach obstacles. I'm not gonna paint this picture like I had this perfect career. You understand? But I think it's the way people handle one another and just knowing a devil and knowing how to handle a devil, knowing God and knowing how to handle a God, and just living and coexisting with one another. You know what I mean? If I know dynamic is the devil, I'm not going to poke the devil. You understand? I'm going to leave him alone. You understand? But he also need to know that I'm a lion and you can't poke the lion. So if we can live in the same space together and have respect for one another, then I prefer that than to live in a world where, I have to be poking the devil and the devil poking me and we're annoying one another and we're always at each other's throat, And that's just life in itself, So I'm just truly grateful for every moment, I've been through so much personally and musically, good for the most part, I've been to situations where I was set to perform at a concert and didn't get to perform because I'm not the big artist And when the big artists them come and ready to perform now, they gonna go on stage now and nobody is gonna hear me tonight. You know, I've been through all stages until like promoters is like, yo, where Pressure? No, Pressure, I for sing tonight. You know, I've climbed the ladder musically because the music speaks for itself. You can't deny the music. You can't deny the sound. You might not like how my flex, how my walk, you know, but the music is the duty. That's the work for jazz. So you can't deny the message. No time. So I always make sure, well, try to make sure that the message is clean at all times, you know, and I speak things that people can learn from. You know, I try to learn things that I could implement in the music, you know, and that's just life, you know. So, yeah, truly give thanks.
Bless. Yes, it is still the same question. What perhaps maybe a few of the challenges that you have come across with in the industry, and how did they shape you?
I think the most challenge we come across as a reggae band comes from Africa. People, it's not easy to get accepted. Before you play, people, they become different. After you play, we have people coming to you and say, wow. For me, I find it internationally, sometimes as African, they look at us a little bit down. It's like you can't deliver the way we deliver. This is a mentality of human and musician. We have problem. Sometimes I always have to find people that said, you can do what I do as African. No, you see, this is a problem that we face everywhere. To be accepted, you have to play first. Then people start to come to you and say, wow. And because they see what you have, sometimes you have more than them, but because you come from Africa, they take you different. It's very big challenge. My first time to travel when we play, open up for the legend Bunny Wailer in the Indian Ocean, because we do a lot of this Indian Ocean because we work with a Frenchman. Man who came with Bunny Wailer, I think it was Professor Larry, you know him? The bass player that plays with the Bunny Wailer and different man. For them to see us, okay, now we want to see what does the African do. When we start to play, and we came with the hornsman, they had hornmans. The hornsman we play with, they were more jazzy. So for them, they got shocked. They say, hey, they man them like jazz man and everything, because they see that the aspect of music is not lying on one style. We are versatile. And we come from Africa, we are special because we have something that people in the West don't have. And sometimes they really put us down, but after that, we can do what they can do. Sometimes they can't do what we do. These are the big challenges we face. Jamaica everywhere. If you now play it right, they look at you, okay, where you come from? But if, you know, when you did it, it's like, wow, the man can do it. I think it's about the time that there's no really international or local. If you're in a level, you're in a level everywhere in the world. I feel like that.
Mm. And for yourself, Dominique?
I like to be underrated. I love it when people think I can't do anything, you know, because you're not going to expect anything from me anyway. So when I get up there, put a beating on you, you know, teach them a lesson. But at the same time, I think that's just, you know, the way human beings work, you know, and just being, South Sudan is not known for anything but war, you know, and I've always put that out there. And me, I feel like anything negative thrown at me, I've had worse, you know, I don't care about.
But you were born there, though.
Yeah, I was born there.
So that means people still make love in South Sudan.
Yes, man. Yes, man. You know, the love thing is always there. Yeah. Yeah. Of course, of course.
There's time for that, right?
Yeah. You have to sneak in a little thing, you know? But, you know, it's like the perception as well, you know? I think my sound, I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say. I lost my brother when I was 12. And a couple of months later, I lost my father. And I think, that made me become a man at a very early age, and I don't see anything negative thrown at me like a bad thing, because where I've been through, it's through worse, and to where I am right now, to, like doing a show with pressure, like being on the same presence as him. I was in the Virgin Islands with Queen Africa. We did a show with Desiree. Desiree is one of my favorite. I sat there like a little kid, I listened to her, and I was even scared to talk to her. And I walked up to her. She's the nicest, kindest soul. She gave me a hug. We took a picture, and it's just, I'm living a dream. I'm telling you guys, I don't take it for granted either. I understand this can be taken away from me instantly. So I'm hoping to inspire as much as I can and leave a good mark. But the most important thing is I just hope the world really look into Africa, because I don't think anywhere else in the world support reggae like Africans, because when most of the artists do stadium shows, it's always in Africa. The busy signals, the whoever come over here, they don't get no love like that outside of Africa. And I hope you guys do understand. You guys are powerful because you guys inspire so many artists out there. When I went to Jamaica, I met Buju. I sat down and spoke to him for over 2 hours, and we were speaking about Africa, the whole thing. We even forgot we were there for music, It's just, like he said, we have something that the world wants, and I want us to build a bridge with our brothers and sisters abroad, from the Virgin Islands to Trinidad or everywhere, because you see, the moment we become like this, it's just going to be easy for all of us because we have a lot to learn from them and they have a lot to learn from us. And then once we come together, love.